Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's currently Saturday, December 21 at 3:05 p.m. And today we're going to be playing MapLab's Halloween Horror 6 Freeze 2. I've been pretty excited about this for a while because this stream is actually going to be a judging stream. Previously, I've reviewed MapLabs, but I've never been a judge before, so I've been very excited to have this opportunity to help with the judging for the challenge. Welcome everyone who joined. Hi, Matino's Burritos. Hi, Adelina. Hi, SpecDoc. Hi, Dami Zen. And hello, XDXDXD. Yeah, prepare to receive civil judgment. So there's a few things I wanted to go over before I start playing through the entries. One is that this text will appear on screen at the top of the screen while I'm judging. And during this stream, I intend to interact with the chat a little bit less than I usually do because primarily this is for judging the challenge. So I'm going to be focused on the entries. So you might notice me not responding to chat messages as often as I usually do. And I also want to ask that there should be no backseating while I'm judging. I think I'll be a little bit more relaxed on the bonus entries because there were quite a few bonus entries for this challenge. But while I'm judging the main entries, I'll put this text up on screen, and I will probably interact just a little bit less, and I'll ask that there should be no backseating as well. Martino's Burrito says, how are you doing today? I'm doing great. I had a little bit of a slow start, but I'm really excited for this judging. The December is just going so fast. I should also mention that this is Halloween Horror 6, but it's coming out just a few days before Christmas. So we've got a little bit of a Nightmare Before Christmas situation going on with this one, I think. I'm going to add a pinned message on Twitch so that Twitch viewers will be able to see in the stream. I will be judging the challenge entries for this competition. I may not respond to chat messages as frequently as I do normally. Please try to refrain from backseating. Okay, and then I'm gonna pin that message as well. Perfect. So I also wanted to mention that for the purpose of judging, I put together this form just for myself, and this form is how I'm going to rate the entries. It has some categories that I created based on just some criteria that I think could be an objective metric for these scores. I'm supposed to give 3 scores: one for presentation, one for interaction. What do they call it? Engagement is the word that they use. It's like for gameplay, basically. And then one for uniqueness or immersion. So I created this questionnaire for myself to be able to ask the same questions about every entry so that I know that I'm being objective. Because I think if I try to rate them just based on vibes alone, then depending on how early or how late into the stream I'm playing an entry, that might affect my judgment, or what entry preceded an entry or what entry succeeded an entry. That'll affect how I think about it. So I want to make sure to be as objective as possible. I'm just going to ask myself these questions, and then I can adjust the scores at the end if necessary. But these are the questions that I usually look for how well a map presented itself, how well it engaged with the player, and also how immersive it was. Or uniqueness, I'm sorry, not immersion. Uniqueness is said to be how well did the map utilize cold as a mechanic, as an atmosphere, as a thematic element, and also how immersive was the map. Those are part of these rules for the challenge. Oh, XEXE says, what's backseating? That's a great question. It's a figure of speech because when someone tells someone else how to drive, they're said to be backseat driving, like they're sitting in the backseat of the car, but they're telling the driver what to do. It's sort of a, it's considered a negative thing. So when people are streaming and they talk about backseating, they're talking about backseat driving, as in telling the person who's streaming where to go or what to do or how to solve a puzzle. Basically, it's spoilers is what that means. Since Christmas is near, when are you going to put a Santa hat on your PFP? That's a good question. I should have put a Santa hat on for stream. Around Halloween, I did I put on the lab coat for Halloween. Thought it was a wordplay for babysitting. No, because it's like the backseat of a car. Telling the driver where to go. So this was the challenge. There are some bonus challenges as well, but I'm not supposed to rate on them, so I can't count the bonus challenges towards the scores, but I do think they're kind of interesting. The first bonus challenge is using fire or heat to stave off death. The second is setting it in a unique location, like somewhere that people wouldn't normally think of as cold, like in space or something like that. And the third one is the main antagonist not being a monster. So those are pretty open-ended, but those are just sort of suggestions that the challenge gave to give entrants more ideas. What else did I want to cover? I wanted to talk about the form that I made. This is my form, and so I'll use that after every entry. I'm going to try to time box this a little bit. There are 4 non-bonus entries. I'm going to start with all of the entries that aren't bonus entries. We're not going to get through all of the entries today, but I think all of the ones that remain will be bonuses for the next time. And I'm also going to set a timer for 30 minutes for each map. And when the timer expires, I consider that to be overtime. So when the timer goes off, I don't have to stop playing the map. But if I'm stuck or if I think I'm not going to be able to progress, then I will skip to the next map. And the reason I do that is because if there is a situation where I'm completely stuck and unable to make progress, I want to be fair to the other entries and make sure that I can review as many of them as possible instead of getting stuck on one. So that's why I'll be using a timer. Normal playtime is 1.5 hours. Yeah, we have about 4 hours, minus 12 minutes. I went through this whole talking portion a lot more quickly than I thought I would. But I think we'll have definitely enough time to play through all the entries then. 1.5 hours for all the entries? There were quite a few of them. I guess they're probably shorter, but we'll see. We'll see how long it takes me. I'll also be going through them after the fact, so that will take me a little bit longer. Yeah, that would be an example, SpecDoc, of what a mapper might do. So I think that covers everything for now. I'm just going to get started. So the judging in progress text is up. I have the game running here. And I also, let me put notes over on my other monitor so I can take notes. I think my settings should be good. Yeah. I'm going to play these on normal because I feel like that's the most fair for judging. My lighting isn't very good in here. Sorry if you can't really see me in the corner there. I don't know if that's worth fixing at this point. Change category to Half-Life 2. Okay. So we have 8 entries, it looks like, in total. I think 4 of them are not bonus entries. We have Beneath the Shelled Skies. Point 17 is a bonus entry. Cabin Fever. Trouble at the Gas Station. But this is a bonus entry. It's a bonus entry. I believe T-3485 is not bonus, so I'll play that one. And then Cold Snap is my map. I don't think we'll get to that on stream. Customary Holiday Darkness. Hi, Nil. Hi, Candy. I still want to just read the name. I want to say hi, Rock Candy Days. Awkward. That's the full name. Yeah, so I think we're going to start with Beneath the Shelled Skies. Let me try to fix that webcam a second. I'll be right back. Let me just fix this. Okay, I think that looks better. Housefire seconded. Yeah, that would be pretty festive. Do I look better now? I think we're good. Yeah. Have to have my cinematic lighting. Yeah, so I think that covers everything. I'm trying to think through my sort of mental list if I missed anything. No, I think we better just get into it. So this is Beneath the Shelled Skies by... You know, how do I pronounce that name, actually? Because I recognize... I'm going to say Civoxulary. That's what I sort of say in my head. I've read that name so many times because I'm familiar with their work. They're awesome. They're a great mapper, but I don't know how to say that out loud. So starting the timer, and we're going to start. Beneath the Shelled Skies, an experimental entry inspired by Ebb Software's Scorn. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm already interested. Okay. Oh, okay. Wow. So, first thing I want to comment on is the mention of Scorn. These, the design of this architecture, like the sort of flowing lines and these, orifices and such, like it's very Geiger inspired. It does remind me a lot of Scorn right off the bat. This is not what I was expecting from this entry at all. I don't think I can go that way. It seems like my crouch is disabled here, which I'm not a big fan of disabling movement options in maps. I see. So these bodies are not, they're like custom assets. And just like in Scorn, they look like they might not be entirely human. Like they have their mouths sort of sewn shut like the creatures, the aliens, I suppose, in Scorn. Ooh, I don't like that. Oh. There's a lot to take in here. So what I'm thinking about when I see this is how well this uses like the background, right? Like it's just like fog. It's just a gradient, but those shapes in the fog give the impression of just this huge space, you know, that we can't really see. Oh, are we gonna get the Scorn gun? We are. Okay. I wasn't expecting that at all. Um, so I'm thinking, my first thought was to use the gun to try to, like, melt this, but I don't think it works like that. No. Uh-oh. Ow. What the... Huh. So this map has unique enemies. Like, I'm trying to figure out, I believe that was done by putting a new model on the Antlion workers. It might have also been a custom like V-script for the spitting attack on like a poison head crab, because they use poison head crab sounds, but I think that was an Antlion worker. I think that's the poison head crab with the cut spit attack. Is that really still in the code? I feel like I would have seen that at some point. Ah, okay, so this thing was blocking progression. I didn't realize at first that that's what it was doing. There's a lot of stuff like in the background that I just want to look at. You know? What is this exactly? Oh, I see. It's like a crank. Oh. Uh-oh. He's approaching. Ow. Okay. I think we have to fight him first. I kind of, after I'm done with this, I might want to go back and see if I can look on the console and see how Suboxylary might have done some of these things. Again, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. There's certain words that I read, and I sort of come up with a pronunciation in my head, and I don't even think about the fact that I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I love the texture work. This, okay, so like this texture for this wall is the same as that texture, just oriented differently. I know that probably seems obvious to say, but it's really clever when you can use the same material in different formats to create like different aesthetics, you know? I noticed some particles that are sort of drifting up into the sky. I think that's something similar to what was in Scorn. This feels a little bit like an arena of some kind. Okay. Thought maybe the body would evaporate or something like that. This one is a zombie. I knew it. This kind of reminds me of the mod Garagulation, which I would highly recommend. Garagulation is more gore punk, I guess, and this is a lot more Geiger inspired, like Alien. Another weapon. Oh, I see. It just added on to my existing weapon. Nice. Okay, that's really cool. I'm not sure what I'm trying to do in this puzzle. Oh, okay. Well, the light turned on. I'm not totally understanding what I need to do for this. Is it just trying to make the lights green? This is giving some Ages of Mist vibes. Yeah. I think Scorn has some sort of shared DNA with games like that. Like, it's that feeling of just exploring a place and trying to piece together what happened. Interesting. So... Oh. That... Was that... I'm kind of lost. Okay. What am I trying to do here? Am I trying to, like, connect the pieces? I don't think so. No. Okay, that looks like that's something. Okay, that did something. Okay. So that did something. So I think here I'm supposed to maybe connect this. So this is really like a plug-in socket kind of puzzle, I think, but I didn't realize that at first. Okay. I like the particles in the air, too. Can I go this way? I don't think I can go this way. Maybe I just need to backtrack the way I came. I think I need to backtrack, but what did... Before I do that, let me ask, what did I actually do? So, I connected the parts of this machine. That seems to have done something, but I'm not entirely... Oh, it's probably the pipes. Right, we gotta follow the pipes. This is basically a nastier version of Combine technology. I guess in as much as, you know, it's the same mechanics as Half-Life 2. Is judging in progress for during the map or after? It's for during the map. Just to know that I'm judging the map and not just reviewing it casually or playing through casually. Not sure what that did. I should have seen... That did something with the track, right? Uh-oh. Is there a way to get over there? There must be, right? Oh, yeah, this opened this way. Okay. Oh, I see. It's like a tram. Okay. Let's go. Beneath the Shelled Skies by Cvoxulary. Third-party content by A-Shift, Texas Steve, Mage6614, SSB Survival. It used concept art. And special thanks to Ebb Software. Oh, and Hell 9000 helped with the VScript. This is an incredible entry. As far as, like, the scope of content, it's rare to see, like, that much creative, like, that much, like, new content, I suppose. Compared with most entries, like, you want to reuse the Half-Life 2 assets, because that's what you're mapping for, but this was, like, all new assets, all new enemies, all new weapons. So, okay, so Beneath the Shelled Skies was the name of our entry. Materials were excellent. I really see myself giving this a 100 on visuals. I can't think of any reason I would have any less than a 100. Hi, Vizzies. Dormna says, did it feel like something that needed to be in the snow theme? Yeah, we'll get to that when we talk about uniqueness. But for the presentation, I can't see myself giving this less than 100. Unique or notable aesthetic, absolutely. Props were good. The composition was excellent. The soundscapes were good. Now, I have this problem when I'm playing through maps where I don't always consciously pay attention to the music. I can't recall off the top of my head what the music was like in that entry. Yeah. So what was the music like? So like here, right? Yeah, so we solved that. What was the music like here? There was definitely credits music, but I think most of this was done without music. The soundscapes here sound kind of musical, right? But it isn't really like a music track for it. There was music earlier in the entry as well. Like, let me... The footstep sounds are so good. Those must be custom. I don't think... Are there stock snow sounds? I don't know. I'm just going to quickly replay through this part and try to remind myself what the music was like here. Soundscapes are so good. I still haven't gotten through my 30-minute timer, so we can definitely spend a little bit of extra time. There was credit for the custom snowy sounds, but they're really good. I feel like there was an ambient music track at the beginning, though. There's music at the end, right? Here where we get to the credits. Oh, there really isn't any music, right? It's more of like a soundscape. I hear a little bit in the background. I can't tell if that's just the soundscape or if there's like a very soft music track playing. Yeah. Let me play back at the beginning. They didn't give a name to the poison crab enemy? That's kind of funny. There had to have been a music track right about here, right? I'm trying to remember. Play through a lot faster. I think it is just the soundscapes, which adds a lot to it. These soundscapes are excellent. Yeah, I am probably gonna mark it down for music only because they mostly just use the soundscapes, which is not a bad thing. Oh yeah, there's music there. That's definitely musical. What music track is that? Is that one that was made for Map Labs, or is that unique to this? I don't know how they V-scripted a new enemy. Yeah, it could be. Oh, so while I'm here, I should actually go through and look at what types of enemies they used. So they did use headcrabs and zombies, so they must have used V-script for the spitting attack. That's really cool. I can probably just juke this enemy. No, I can't. Okay. That song is used commonly in other maps. Oh, that's probably a Map Labs song. I'm gonna give it a 1, I think. So that's half points for music. This is really, in my opinion, a 10 out of 10 presentation. Like I can't really imagine any map looking or sounding better than this. Honestly, like as far as having a unique aesthetic, using materials well, using shapes well, like this is really good. Wasn't Blixabon working on a custom base for VScript enemies? There's a lot of VScript hooks for the existing NPCs. So what you can probably do is like what this map did and take an existing enemy like a poison headcrab and use VScript to override some of its schedules, like ranged attacks and stuff like that. I'd actually be really interested in looking at the VScript for this map, just as a uh, just investigating how it was made type of thing. Yeah, so there's not a lot of music in here. There doesn't need to be a lot of music, to be honest. But I'm gonna say 1 out of 2 for music choice. Because they did use the one track, and then some of the ambient sounds, like the ambient noise that's playing in this soundscape, are sort of musical, even if they're not music tracks. So I'm not gonna give full credit, but definitely deserves half credit. Okay. So now we get on to the engagement section. I was able to play through without getting stuck. Absolutely, I did not get stuck. I did get confused at the puzzles, and that's something I'm going to put in my notes, I think. But I wasn't actually stuck, and I would be if it had taken me more than 30 minutes. Used new or existing gameplay mechanics in a notable way. For new mechanics, in this case, I'm going to say the new weapon and the new enemies are new mechanics. I understood the story of the map. Yes, I did. To be fair, that does kind of rely on Scorn. Um, would I have understood the story of the map if I hadn't played Scorn? Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't have a lot of context to where you start out or who you are or what your motivation is. I'm. Should I detract a point for that? Like, I don't think it really needs it. I think the idea is that you're exploring the ruins of the civilization and you're just sort of witnessing what happened. Again, it is referencing Scorn. I feel like the story was done well enough, but since I don't have like a primary motivation, maybe I will bump that down to 1. I don't know. I'm on the fence on that one. There are no bugs, absolutely no bugs. I enjoyed playing the map, yes. Evoked an emotion, absolutely, and it was well paced. The story, we don't really know who we are or where we're trying to go. We know that we're trying to leave, but I think I'm gonna give half points for the story because we don't know who the character is or where they came from or where they're going, which is also true in Scorn. But since there's no resolution, I don't know. Maybe I should that count as a different thing? I'll count it like this. Yeah, that seems fair. How well did this map utilize cold? I'll say that I forgot about the theme while I was playing it. So there was snow on the ground, and I do think that cold was thematically relevant for the idea of like a dead planet. The idea is like everything is frozen over. So I don't think it's bad. I'm gonna say it used cold 2 out of 5. The cold was only a background element of the theme. It wasn't the main purpose, I don't think. So that's what I would say for that. How immersive was the atmosphere? 5, easily. I feel like the score is going to be too low. I might need to work on my scoring a little bit. Because okay, I'm questioning myself. Like cold was part of the theme. The theme was that it's a like a dead world, that it has like a nuclear winter. The civilization is like empty. Only the sort of zombie like beings are left. There was snow. There's ice too. I'm gonna bump it up to a 3, but no higher than that. Let's see what chat is saying. I'm sorry, guys. True to what I said earlier, I've mostly ignored chat. They reused the Dark Interval spitter attack for the gun. Is that true? Because that's interesting. Like, I think that spit attack was already existing in episode 2, so I don't think that's the case. But if it is true, that's a good use of assets. Sound show 1, sound visualize 1. Sound. Oh, okay. We were a protagonist with leg braces. We can't crouch. That was one piece of feedback that I had that I didn't like about the map, was that the absence of a crouch felt totally unnecessary. It didn't count any points against it because I don't think it really hurt the overall experience, but I didn't like that, to be honest. There was a path blocked by ice. Yeah, I'll give it 3 out of 5 on the cold scale, 5 out of 5 on the immersion scale. The primary fire of the weapon is the spitter attack from Dark Interval. Oh, that's cool. You don't see many weapons like that. Notes. My notes are not working. I will manually add notes. That's my bad. Notes. Let me just quick type this up. My bad. I goofed up the notes. Thinking. Things I didn't like. I'm gonna write up the notes better before I submit this feedback to the other judges. But I do want to mention the absence of crouch felt unnecessary. Well, so I think the reason why they would remove crouch is possibly because crouch is never used in the map, or maybe there's things that look like you can crouch under them and you can't. But I don't like changing Half-Life 2's. I don't like removing. Half-Life 2 movement mechanics like crouch and jump. It makes maps feel restrictive and less interactive. Because the maps are for HL2, I come to expect the usual movement mechanics of jump, crouch, sprint, etc. This is really a personal preference thing, which is why it doesn't count against the score at all. Like, I don't think it negatively impacted the map. It's just something noteworthy that I wanted to write down. I also wanted to say I found the puzzles confusing. I wasn't sure what the objective of the puzzles was. Took me a while to figure out. I didn't have an overarching goal. Once I saw the tram at the end, I realized I was trying to escape, but from the outset, I didn't know that was what I was trying to do. So, those were all the negatives about Beneath the Shelled Skies. Beneath the Shelled Skies. New assets, new enemies, new weapons. Weapon was creative and well thought out. Environment was highly immersive and moody. I think that's all I need for notes for now. I'll summarize this later when I submit my reports. In the meantime, let's look at the scores. Oh, no, I didn't submit yet. Submit. Okay, Beneath the Shelled Skies. Let me see if my averages are working. Oh, the whole form goofed up. That's not good. Let me try to fix this a second. My bad. Technical difficulties. Yeah, wait. No, I did that wrong. Yeah, I think that worked. Okay, so let's try that. So I gave it a 95 on presentation, 92.8 on engagement. I'll probably round these up to whole numbers. I think 0 to 100 is maybe a little bit too open of a scale to begin with. Like, what's the difference between a 93 and a 95? I don't know. I probably would have done 0 to 10, but uniqueness is 80, and so the total average is 89. That seems kind of low for how like well made of a map that was. So I might need to adjust my scale a little bit. I might return to this later and change my scores a little bit. Those are the initial scores from my survey. Oh, fiddlesticks, what now? Yeah, exactly. So, how do I reset my timer here? Sorry guys, lots of scuff now. Oh wait, can I just like... How does this work? You'd think I would know how to set up a timer. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So, let's move on to the next map. Judging is now in progress. So the second map is point 17, but I'm going to skip this map because it's listed as a bonus entry, and I only want to judge the non-bonus entries to start out with. So we're going to go to Cabin Fever. Someone's at the door. This kind of reminds me of, this reminds me of a lot of maps, actually. But I like this sort of static pattern that the TV is casting. I'm just ignoring that door. How I respond when someone knocks on my door. The environment is kind of sparse, although I do like that they use these, I think, Left 4 Dead props for the clothes on the floor. The texture work is good. It does feel a little bit blocky, and I think it's just because the rooms are scaled so big for the props that are in them, and there isn't any like geometry on the walls to kind of like break it up. I like this decal though. Oh, we can see outside a little bit. Oh, I broke a beer toaster. Anyways, I better answer the door. Huh? Okay. Wait, what is this? Oh, this is laundry. Okay. Can you flush the toilet? Good question. Oh, actually, I think that's where I'm going. Yeah. No. They did have an actual toilet paper roll model, though. That's kind of rare. The mirror is missing. Uh-oh. Got a bad feeling about this. Should probably go outside and check the power box. I don't really want to go outside. There's no flashlight. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go through the back door. Ooh, flashlight. Is this custom music? Relight the fire. Check the front door. Is the music not picking up well? Oh. That's it. No credits. Yeah, let me turn it up just a little bit. That should be a little bit loud. That might be too loud. That's probably about right. So that was Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever. This one is going to be harder to judge, I think. The texture work was good, I felt like. There might have been some like low resolution textures. Like, let me pull that up again. I like the projected texture here. I will say, I wasn't super impressed by the use of cold in this one. Yeah, I think the texture work, I'm probably going to say it's done well. There's nothing that stands out as being like low resolution or not fitting or um like misaligned, that sort of thing. I like the props too. Okay, so we've got lighting and color contrast. I mean, so the lighting is a little bit flat from these white lights, but I think that's deliberate to make it feel creepy. And they do have the orange light from the fire. So I'm going to say the lighting was done pretty well, especially with the fixed control of the flashlight that they had. Unique or notable aesthetic. I mean, I like the unique props that they had. I I don't think it stood out as being a unique location, but I did like some of the individual props. Yeah, prop placement fit the environment, made the world more believable. Absolutely. Composition and background. I couldn't really see outside, so everything is inside the interior. So there were rooms that were further away and rooms that were closer. I'm gonna give this one half points. Immersive soundscapes. The sound was done pretty well. There was custom music, fit really well. I would say that the geometry was a little bit boxy, and there were dynamic sequences. Nothing really moved in the map though. Like it was mostly just sounds and lights changing. I'm gonna say half points for that. And was it highly detailed? It's tough because some of these props are highly detailed. Like I like how the kitchen has a coffee machine and a toaster, but there's also a lot of like blank wall space and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna say that it's highly detailed. Yeah, like this is a kind of a low detail room. Although they do have things like the toilet paper holder, which I appreciate. I liked the use of projected textures. I guess that would count as this one. Yeah, it's yeah. One thing I should keep in mind is that on the presentation scale, I believe base Half-Life 2 maps are supposed to be a 7 out of 10. So really it should be less than that if it's looking it should be around 70 if it looks about like a Half-Life 2 map, basically. Yeah, I think that's fair. I was able to play through without getting stuck. The map used new or existing gameplay mechanics in a notable way. So the mechanics in this map were basically lights turning on and off, and sounds. I hesitate to count that as an existing mechanic in a notable way. I know using lights turning on and off is a mechanic, and it is interesting, but it's not very interactive. I I don't know. I'm gonna mark points off for that because I think this is more of a non-interactive map. I understood the story absolutely. There were no bugs. I don't think so, anyways. I would say I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give half points for emotion. I don't know. I didn't feel super immersed in that one. It was good. Maybe I just have played too many maps at this point where like sounds moving around don't really scare me. And I think what detracted from it was also the HUD hints. Being told what to do for every step of the way kind of made it feel more like a I don't know, like a visual novel or like one of those old like RPG Maker kind of games where everything is sort of like pre-scripted, but it's in a game engine. It was well paced though. I would well paced is funny because I phrased this to assume poorly paced meant too slow, like it takes too long, or there's like too much stuff in it. But this in this case, I think it went through it too quickly. There wasn't enough space to like just sort of wait things out. Um, and it didn't give me fatigue though. Yeah, I'm gonna dock points because when I think about the ending, right? that jump scare at the end was totally ineffective because it didn't even have any credits or anything. There was no like build up to it. There was no anticipation. It just sort of like flashed something on the screen and then went to menu. Yeah, I think I believe this is fair. I think so. I think this is fair. How well did the map utilize cold? I would say like because there was really the fire went out and that was it. So I'm gonna mark this as a one because there wasn't really. I realized lighting the fire was part of it, but there wasn't anything that really stood out to me as like cold. I mean, other than the sound from outside was good, but it didn't really like cold didn't factor into the map a lot. Immersive, how immersive was the atmosphere? I liked the prop usage and I liked the lighting changing, but I never really felt super immersed. I'm gonna give this two or three, maybe three, maybe two. Yeah, it wasn't super immersive, but I liked the lighting and I liked the props. I especially liked like the projected texture lighting from the campfire. It was yeah, it's yeah. This seems fair. Okay. Again, my notes are broken. So cabin fever. Cabin fever. I'm gonna try to follow the same format. Um, maybe I'll just sort of have these as loose notes. Actually, I don't need to put them in categories. So I felt like the HUD hints rushed the pace of the map and made it feel less interactive. This is I've been using HUD hints or it's not HUD hints but instructor hints. The instructor hints. I've been using instructor hints a lot lately, and so it kind of I don't know. It makes me think about it because I do think that the way the instructor hints flash on your screen and they're so eye catching and so like demanding poses a problem. I needed to think more about how I use them as well because I think they can detract from things pretty often. And I do like using them a lot. I want to say the use of projected texture lighting for the TV and the fireplace looked really good. I appreciate the small props from Left 4 Dead. Maybe they weren't from Left 4 Dead. Maybe they were from Counter Strike. Maybe they're from a different game. But those props, more intimate and believable. Like it didn't like being able to see that there's a toaster and there's a coffee machine made it feel more like a home that I would recognize. It didn't feel like a home in a video game. You know what I mean? Um, I really liked that. Yeah, I think those are my notes. So how are the scores stacking up so far? This average for Cabin Fever seems way too low to me. It's because the uniqueness score brought it down significantly. I don't. I might need to adjust. Well, hmm. Yeah, I think it has to be that way because uniqueness, I did score it low on uniqueness because it wasn't very immersive in my opinion and it didn't use cold. So that's why the uniqueness score is so low. But wow, that really hurts the overall score a lot. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I never took my judging in progress sticker off. That's okay. We're going to move on to the next one, which is Trouble at the Gas Station by Arctic Snowpup. Find shelter or risk hypothermia. Uh-oh. I can't actually see where I'm going very well. I like that radio broadcast. Oh, uh-oh. That's spooky.
And so this incredible story becomes more ghastly with each report. It's difficult to imagine such a thing actually happening, but these are the reports we have been receiving and passing on to you. Reports which have been verified as completely as is possible in this confused situation. It is happening, and it would appear that no one is safe.
I like these skeletons. That's kind of unique. So it's interesting that the Combine are here, but I think they're sort of standing in for, you know, modern, contemporary law enforcement. I don't think that this is really meant to be set in the Half-Life universe. Maybe it is. So there's a little bit of a bait and switch with the radio broadcast because the radio broadcast talked about cannibals eating flesh, but then the actual threat in the map was the skeletons. Dormness says, I hope if you kill the skeletons, they fall apart when they die. That'd be hilarious. I like how, okay, this room feels subtly cold to me. Maybe it's because I'm just actually cold right now. But the empty space, why is it raining in here? That seems kind of weird. But this like gray, empty, vertical space just feels cold to me.
Gordon, help! I wondered if you were gonna make it in time. Hey, Gordon, before you go.
Oh, Barney, no! I'm confused by a few things. Why is Barney wearing a Nova Prospect like soldier's outfit? I'm really confused. And I thought, the other thing is, this is actually my bad. I thought for sure that this shotgun was the Halo shotgun. And so I was really confused. That's on me. This is actually the M3 from Counter-Strike Source. That makes sense. But yeah, the assets there kind of distracted me from the intent of Barney's noble sacrifice. Is that Father Grigori with the teleporter?
Who is this? Another life to save?
I'm over here, buddy.
I am Father Grigori. You have already met my congregation.
Oh, wait, so he made the skeletons. Is this gonna be a boss fight? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He's just gonna stand there laughing. Wait, can I shoot him? No, I can't. I do like the way the skeletons look when they fall over. Okay. Oh, he's dead. I'm out in the cold again. Is this gonna protect me from the cold? No, it's not. Okay. I forgot to set the timer again. Guys, when am I gonna stop forgetting to set the timer? I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh, it's him. Is this the Borealis?
Gordon! Help! Help! Oh my god.
Oh, okay, we found her. Gas station horror. Wait, so the radio newscaster, was that recorded specifically for this? I thought it was going to be like a public domain recording or something. Happy Halloween. It's Christmas. Okay. Well... You know what? This music might be copyrighted. I've been noticing on my YouTube channel I've been getting some copyright notices for MapLabs challenges. I believe that it is free to use and the claim doesn't actually count against the video. But it would be pretty frustrating if these VODs were deleted. So that was called Trouble at the Gas Station. I'm gonna have a hard time rating this one, to be honest. Trouble at the Gas Station. Material selection improved the presentation. I didn't notice any misaligned textures or missing textures or anything of that sort, so I'm going to say yes. Effective use of lighting and color contrast. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of lighting in the map, and a lot of it was flashlight driven, but they did have the flares. They had the lights around the gas station. I'm going to count that. Unique or notable aesthetic? Not really, to be honest. I mean, the snow outside the gas station was cool, but inside it looked like environments from Half-Life 2 that were not particular to any certain environment. It was pretty generic. Prop placement, the props were pretty sparse. So I'm going to count that as not highly detailed, and there were some box rooms. Composition and background. I couldn't really see the background because usually it was only focused on the foreground. That might be... I might give that a second look. Soundscapes, from what I remember, were pretty good. There's also music, and there were dynamic sequences. Let me go back for the backgrounds.
Civil defense officials in Cumberland have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially...
I don't know why when I saw that M3 shotgun, I thought for sure it was the Halo shotgun. I've used that shotgun in my own maps. I don't know why I was confused about it. I like the snowman. It's got a MapLabs hat.
Repeating this latest bulletin just received moments ago from Cumberland, Maryland. Civil defense authorities have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Medical examination of victims' bodies shows conclusively that the killers are eating the flesh of the people they killed. And so this incredible story becomes more ghastly with each report. It's difficult to imagine such a thing actually happening, but these are the reports we have been receiving and passing on to you. Reports which have been verified as
I do really like the skeleton zombies.
situation. It is happening, and it would appear that no one is safe.
Yeah, so I think that the rooms are very boxy. One thing I didn't even notice the first time I went through here is how plain the gas station itself looks. Like, that metal texture doesn't look very good for an overhang like this. And I think one thing that's notable about that is that it doesn't really matter. Like, if I'm the player and I'm, like, running to this gas station, it doesn't really matter if this is detailed if I'm not going to look at it, right? So that's something that I think is important to consider. However, you know, I can't give points for good like detailing and stuff because it is pretty plain, and these props are kind of duplicated. But I think from the mapper's perspective, I think that it's good to focus the detail in the places that the player is going to look. Oh, there's a vignette when you get cold. I like that. So when you get cold, there's actually a vignette around the screen. Makes it clear. Yeah, the player is going to look here. The player is going to look here. So don't detail the stuff that's like out of the player's view. I want to make it clear that, well, you know, you're not going to get extra points for good detailing. It is more important to focus on the things that the player is going to focus on. I like the reuse of all the classic characters. Why was it raining if the map was snow? Yeah, good question. Yeah, and this room is pretty empty too. Although I like this little, like, this part that's set into the wall. I think that looks good. It breaks up the walls a lot. So why can't we just shoot him early if he's gonna attack us anyways? There we go. And then we go to the Borealis. And we have to quickly get to Alex at the Borealis. And G-Man is chilling there. What is that up at the Borealis? There's like a... Is that the 80s Aperture logo? No, it's a life preserver. That's what it is. Yeah, so I think that this is a fair score. I was able to play through without getting stuck. It did use a newer or existing gameplay mechanic. I understood the story. I'm gonna give it half points. Like, I did basically understand the story. But because it was a silly story, it's not meant to be taken very seriously. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I was very confused by Barney. Why is Barney there? Why is Grigori there? Why is Grigori operating a teleporter out of the basement of a gas station? Why am I looking for Alex at the Borealis? Like, it just felt like very random, which is fine. Like, it was meant to be kind of a silly, lighthearted map, so I don't want to hold that against it too much, but I don't think it did a great job about telling like a cohesive story. No bugs. I enjoyed it. Did evoke an emotion. I mean, I laughed a little bit. It was I liked the ending. It was fun. Well paced for sure. Yeah. How well did the map utilize cold? The cold was a little bit heavy-handed as a mechanic because it starts out like right when the map begins. There was no period of like learning about the cold or anything like that, like getting used to the mechanic or being able to warm yourself to stave off the cold. But it is the first map in the challenge so far that's actually had a mechanic for cold. It felt like cold was the reason that cold was like your motivation at the beginning of the map. You're cold, you're dying of hypothermia, you need to hide in a gas station. So I think that it used it well as like a motivation for the character and for the setting. So for that, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. How immersive was the atmosphere? This is a tricky one for me because I feel like maps that are meant to be humorous are inherently less immersive, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I think about immersion as far as like putting me into the world of the game and making me feel like I'm experiencing the story firsthand and I'm invested in the story. And I really can't be when it's meant to be more of a humorous story. But like in this case where it's sort of a silly, like they're reusing all the characters and it's sort of, you know, it's a gas station being attacked by skeletons and all that. But I think I liked the atmosphere of how it looked outside the gas station when you were in the snow. I thought that was well done. I liked the part with the flashlight, actually. I thought that was pretty immersive. I'm going to give it 2 or 3. Probably a 2. The uniqueness scores are really tanking the averages, I think. Well, not really, because this one has a pretty low presentation score. Trouble at the gas station. I really liked... So, the questionnaire didn't really cover the skeletons. They had, like, unique enemies. That's really cool. That should be celebrated. Really liked the skeleton zombie. The snowman at the gas station with the Map Labs hat was very fun. The map didn't take itself very seriously, but in a way that I thought was funny. I liked seeing Barney, Gory, and Alex. So onto some negatives. I was confused by Barney's change of clothes because I already didn't not understand how he fit into this gas station setting. Grigori and the teleporter felt very random. In terms of gameplay, I didn't like that you can't shoot Grigori until the zombies are already dead. It felt like it's what Gabe Newell calls a narcissistic injury. It's like the game isn't responding to my inputs. You know, it expects me to do one thing before I do another thing. It felt non-interactive. I think that covers it pretty well. So far, we've reviewed Beneath the Shelled Skies, Cabin Fever, and Trouble at the Gas Station. Let's see where we're at next. So, B is a bonus entry. Rural Life is a bonus entry, but I believe T3485 is not a bonus entry. So we're going to review that one next. Yeah, the time. Thanks, Ade. I appreciate that. So, where is my button to reset this timer? Oh, okay. So I should just do that. Okay. Everyone ready? Let me check one thing before. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm ready. T-3485. Start the timer. Ten. Am I in control? Wait, am I? Oh, okay. I'm in a tank. I was not expecting that. Okay. I'm in a tank. This tank is going awfully fast. Ow. Switch to gunner? That looks like just a random person. Why would I shoot them? Okay. Is this... Am I supposed to shoot these people? Why would I attack random people? Okay, I guess we're shooting civilian targets now. I don't know who I am or why I'm doing this. Oh, I just blew myself up. I'm trying not to laugh. That's horrible. That's not funny. Chat, that's not funny. No. So I wish I, like, did I skip like a story intro or something? I feel like I'm missing a lot of context. Ooh, I've got no flashlight or anything. Okay. Okay. What am I trying to do here? I don't really like the sounds because I can't hear my own thoughts. All I hear is tank treads. Tanks are probably pretty loud, but war crimes. Soldiers obey. Obey what? Like, I didn't get any orders. I just woke up in a tank and there's people running around. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Is this as loud on the stream as it is for me? Oh, I see. Okay. So armor piercing. Okay. Okay. The vibe is immaculate and the tank gameplay is awesome. I don't really like these controls very much, I will say. I think it's cool how there's like different positions that you need to switch between, like the driver and the gunner. And it does feel like a tank, which is good. Oh, okay. So what else do I need to do? Oh, okay. Wait. There's something up there. Is that a target or is that... Am I supposed to be attacking that or defending that or neither? I don't know what I'm doing. I can't aim the tank any higher. Do we need to shoot the metal cabin? Yeah. By the way, I don't want to, oh yeah, that's what I need to do. Hello. I don't want any backseating while I'm judging the challenges, if possible. Hello. Oh. I missed, I guess. Okay, that doesn't seem like that's working. Judgment. No, that didn't do anything. Okay. I think the tank is blocked by this barricade that I drove through. Yeah, this citizen is a hero. Just like look at how badass this person is. They're just staring right down the barrel of a tank cannon. They do not care. I wanna play the game where we play as that character. You are amazing. Am I? Am I amazing? You're amazing. Oh. Okay. Amazing. Are you sure? I don't understand. Yeah, I think I need to drive closer to You Are Amazing. Okay. These must be like bunkers of some kind. Okay. Oh. Am I fighting against that tank, or am I... Oh, wait, no, I think that's me. This is a giant mirror. Okay. Wait, I just gotta back up a little bit. Backing up, backing up. There we go. Oh, that was it. Okay. So, what happens when you start this map initially? Okay, so we see the tank. This is the tank. That's good. We are now the tank. Okay. 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 Where can I go to... Let me just silence the audio while the game window is in the background. Okay. Now I can hear my thoughts. That tank audio was driving me crazy. And I know, like, tanks are pretty loud. Maybe I just haven't played enough tank games. I haven't played any War Thunder. But, like, that was actually giving me a headache. I don't like that very much. I'm going to be honest. You couldn't live with yourself after that. Yeah, but, like, why, what was with the giant mirror? Like, it's very confusing. T-3485. Wait, is that the actual name of the tank? Let me... 3485. Oh, okay. So it's a Soviet medium tank from World War II. Interesting. T-34. I feel like I should know that. That's a very common tank, isn't it? T-34-85. I don't know very much about tanks. Materials. There weren't a lot of brushes in that. So there were a few displacements on the ground. There were those towers that the citizens were hiding in, and there were the barricades. It's like I don't know how to rate that because I don't want to count it against it because I think the map did a good job with its presentation. It didn't really need a lot of materials for that. Half points for now. Effective use of lighting and color contrast to direct the player. No, I mean there was the headlights only, so there's no use of lighting to direct the player. Unique or notable aesthetic. I kind of want to give that 1 points. It's a battlefield in World War II on a tank scale. Like, this question isn't about how well it used lighting or texture. This is just about, was it a unique aesthetic? Like, did it give off a certain vibe or feeling through the way that it used shapes and colors? And I would say, yeah, it did. Prop placement. There weren't really any props. There were those brush-based, wait, if I go back here, right? There were, the tank itself looks good. So maybe that should count. And I think the tank is made out of brushes, so that's kind of good. There were these things, what do you call those? The World War II, like, anti-tank barricade things? There's a word for those, and I'm completely blanking on what they're called. Yeah, these things. The tank itself looks great. Okay, so there's some props. Oops. There's actually more stuff here than I realized, because I think I just shot it the first time I played this. Okay. I can't stand these controls, I'm gonna be honest. It's like really hard to use. There were some props. Okay. Just trying to inspect what this map looks like. Okay. I think I have a pretty good impression now. Okay, so yeah, materials were good. Prop placement, yeah, maybe. Composition, there wasn't really a background because it's all shrouded in darkness. There was the idea of like you illuminate things with a flashlight. So I guess there was a foreground and background in that sense of like there's the things that you can see and things that you can't. But I don't get the sense that there was anything out in the map that gives any kind of impression of like a background. The soundscapes, no. I don't think there's any music. The displacements were pretty good for the terrain, but there wasn't a lot of geometry. Dynamic sequences, I kind of want to, I mean, the whole thing was, no, that doesn't really count, because this is talking about, like, animated sequences in the map, like parts of the map changing, or characters doing, like, specific actions. There wasn't really any of that. Yeah. And there we go. Okay. I was able to play through without getting stuck. Newer interesting gameplay mechanic. I feel like I should add like extra credit. Maybe that's something I can do for my next judging forum, because this was absolutely new gameplay. Did not understand the story. No bugs. I didn't really enjoy the map, but I do have to clarify that I think my lack of enjoyment had to do with the sound design a little bit. It was loud and it was irritating, and I think that really put me in the wrong headspace to enjoy the map. it's not, the mechanics of the map were really interesting. I like the idea of driving a tank in a Source Engine game. That's like really unique and that should be celebrated, but I didn't really enjoy playing the map. The map evoked the emotion of confusion for me. It was well paced though. How well did the map utilize cold? Now that I understand a little bit better, like this was probably, yeah, like there's like a historical context to why it used cold. I don't think it really used cold. I mean, it was in a cold environment, but there was nothing happened in the map because of the cold. It wasn't a motivating factor aside from maybe some vague historical reference. It didn't meaningfully affect the map, but it was cold. I give it a 2. The map was not immersive. I'm gonna give it a 1. I feel like I'm judging this really harshly. It pains me a little bit because I think that the concept is really, really good, and I liked the tank mechanics, and I want to give it a higher score. I just found it not very enjoyable to play. I think it was a combination for me of the controls of the tank being very clunky and difficult to use, which is probably intentional. I mean, it's a tank. But that combined with the sound design where the tank was just constantly making those loud tread noises, just made it very difficult for me to play through it. Yeah, so that was... A snowed over flatlands in complete darkness with only your light is something I've been in before, and it had a very similar vibe. I don't know. Like, I didn't feel like that the map had that verisimilitude. It didn't remind me of what it would feel like for me to be in an empty place at night in the snow. It just looked too flat, too, like, blocky, especially because you're in a tank and there's no, like, footstep sounds or anything like that. That'd make you feel like you're trudging through snow. Yeah, it should have used sounds like howling winds. Exactly. I totally agree. The view resetting after a shot was on and off, so I consider that a bug. That's a very good point. I marked it for no bugs, but I think that might have been a bug because it did seem like the view sometimes would flip around 180 degrees and sometimes it wouldn't. Didn't realize that until you said it. So that might have been a bug. So here's my notes on T3485. Tank gameplay in a Source Engine map should be celebrated as it is completely novel. And I really can't, I have to emphasize that before I give any feedback on the map, because I think the fact that it tried to do tank gameplay is significant and should be celebrated and should be lauded, but it's everything else about the map I struggled with a lot. The sound of the tank was very loud and it made it difficult for me to focus. I know on some level that's probably intentional. They're probably thinking like this is what it would actually sound like to be in a tank crew. Like it's not supposed to be comfortable. Being in a tank in World War II is not comfortable, obviously, but it didn't make the game more fun, I would say. There's a CS 1.6 map where you drove a tank and rode a helicopter. Did that have tank mechanics where you had like different positions in the tank, like a driver and a gunner, and you have to load shells and stuff like that? I haven't actually played that in 1.6. I barely played CS 1.6 at all. I might have never played CS 1.6. That's crazy, now that you mention it. So I think, like, at the end of the day, it's like the playability that suffered. Is the mechanics made it really difficult for me to play because I felt like there was so much resistance, like turning the tank turret or driving the tank or switching positions. It didn't feel good to play. The path was set for you and you just used it like a train. Yeah, exactly. So like this was a map that was an actual like tank mechanics where you drive the tank. You have to have a driver position and a gunner position, and it moves like a tank. It doesn't move like a train. Like you have to turning the tank is very difficult with the treads and stuff. It did a good job with that. It just wasn't fun to play. So those were all of the official entries, I believe. So the score right now looks like this. I am going to score the bonus entries, but the scores for the bonus entries won't count towards the competition, if that makes sense. It looks like there's 9 minutes remaining on my timer for that map. So far, all these maps have gone by pretty quickly. Yeah, let's do some bonus maps. Loud. Point 17. I'm gonna remove judging in progress because it's okay if you backseat a little more because it's a bonus entry. I think generally I'm going to treat these the same as the main entries, but it's not as important as it was. Oh, so it looks like I was injured here. There's an IV stand and some blood. There's a vent cover, but no vent. I like this room. The ceiling trusses add a lot to the detail. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so I need a crowbar to open that. Okay, I also need a valve, probably to shut off the gas here. Oh, there's the valve. And it looks like there's like an axe. Can I use the axe instead of the crowbar? Let me see. This mod might have a custom axe weapon, which would be super cool. This entry, rather. Oh, here's the crowbar. Okay. Okay. What am I missing here? Okay, never mind. Oh, there is a lock on a locker. Okay, so what would I use a gun for in this case? I mean, I think we've already... I mean, is that gonna... I don't think there's anything I have to do with a gun yet. So, the Overwatch voice makes me think that this is set during episode 1. That's interesting. What could I possibly need to shoot? Oh, I forgot to set my timer. I'm gonna restart the timer. Get a little bit of extra time. Although I am pretty stuck at this point. If there was an explosive barrel in here, that would make sense. There's only regular barrels. Wow. Really? Seems a little strange. I think these ramp things should have been metal and not propped up by a barrel like that, because like I get that they were probably trying to visually show why the valve would fall the way that it falls, but like that was misleading. Okay, we got a valve. Cool. You did the exact same thing that I just did? Yeah. It's a little confusing. Okay, but now I think we can escape. A zombine. Some water in here. So far this doesn't feel... Oh, okay. So far this doesn't feel very cold. Ow. Okay, I guess I'm not going up that way. Oh, I know what I can do. I can just climb like this. Okay. Okay. What did that do? Okay. I guess I have access. Oh, okay. He has no head. Oh. Okay. That was scary. Oh, oh. Okay. Oh, wow. Where am I? What is this? It's like an ice wall. This reminds me of Soma when you're at the bottom of the abyss and you're following the little light posts. Oh. What's this? A new wheel and some fuel. Okay. The M3 shotgun again. This is a nice little house. I like the detailing with the cross beams in the ceiling. It's like a nice, simple little cabin. Gravity gun. Okay. So I need a wheel for the APC. No toilet paper. No! Okay. Ooh. I have a weird feeling about that. This obviously isn't a wheel. Wait. Okay, so I need gas and a wheel. Maybe I need to follow other markers to get there. Light the fire? Okay. I mean, I don't think there is a fireplace in here. Okay. Nice. Oh, that's actually really cool. That looks great with that light, too. But I haven't found any gas. I feel like I might have walked right past it and not realized it was important. It's propane. Okay. Let's see, if I follow this blue light, what happens? Oh, there's a wheel. Perfect. Oh, okay. It's more like an inventory system. I do like how they use this APC model. And the green is probably where I get the fuel. Okay. So, looks like a train crash. Has to be some fuel here. Okay, I got the fuel. Oh, there's a lot of them. I like that fog. That's really good. The environment in this is really nice. I like the cabin. I like the fighting the zombie in the fog, the snow falling. I should rest in the house before leaving? Are you crazy? Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Horror movie logic. Okay, I guess I'm very tired. I'm too tired. Okay, let's take a nap. Point 17. Oh, so you actually don't leave. I just know that the mapper was like, oh, how am I gonna animate the APC leaving with the player driving it, you know? Like you'd have to be able to go into the APC and have it move on a track and stuff. Way easier to just go to bed. No, but I liked that. That was a nice little map. Was there music? Okay, the question I always ask. I don't pay enough attention. There was music, right? There wasn't really any music, was there? Maybe there was a little bit at the end? I don't remember there being any music. I'm gonna go with no music. So this is point 17. Point 17. Materials were good. I think the lighting was pretty good. I liked how those sprites show up through the fog to show you where the points of interest are. Yeah, there wasn't any case where I thought it was bad. Unique or notable aesthetic. I would have said no from the base. The base was pretty generic, White Forest kind of aesthetics, but I liked the cabin a lot. So I'm going to give it to that. Props were good. There wasn't a lot of like skybox stuff as far as background, but the use of fog was really good. Yeah, do I count maps with no skyboxes against it? Because this is really about the skybox. I don't know. Soundscapes were good. No music. The geometry was good. There weren't really any notable sequences like where the map moved, or I mean there was the part where you fall down the vent. That was pretty cool, but I wouldn't say that was like a dynamic sequence. I'd say it was sufficiently detailed. There weren't really any places where I thought it was empty. Maybe the big room with the water, actually, or the exterior. Those were both pretty empty. But most of the interior spaces where you were directed to had props. I think. I think this might be a bit too generous. I don't know. Now I'm questioning. Yeah, because like this is pretty detailed. I like the varied texture use and all the props and everything, the decals. This is good. Let me just, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna be a cheater. I'm gonna just look at some of these rooms. This is another, oh, I'm dead. That's what happens when you cheat. Okay. That looks pretty good. Oop. This room is the one that I thought was pretty empty. But even that has good like decal use. Yeah, it's pretty good. This room is a bit bare. It's got the spiral staircase though. It's good. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna deduct any points for that. That's good. Very good environment design in this one. I like how the APC has snow covering it. I know it's a little bit blocky because it's just a brush, but for the time, I mean, I think this is, it's good. It adds to the vibe, you know. I guess this is technically an empty area, but you're not really supposed to go over there. Yep. Yeah, I think that's fair. I was able to play through without getting stuck. Yep. New or existing gameplay mechanic in a notable way. Not really, to be honest. Because there were some existing mechanics that were used, but I don't think they were used in a notable way. The puzzles at the beginning were fun. That was just the basic, you know, physics. Not even physics. It was like just weapon damage dealing, like breaking the lock and then breaking the crate. That's fun. And there was some combat with Zombine, and then you had to navigate to a cabin. I didn't feel like it was notable. I understood the story of the map. I'm going to go with a 1. We didn't really get to learn, like, where did these zombies come from? Why don't they have any heads? Like, there's no head crabs. They're just zombies without head crabs. You don't really know who you are or where you're going. 0. No bugs. I definitely enjoyed it. I would say it evoked an emotion. And it was well paced. Yeah, I think that's good. How well did it utilize cold? I'm going to give it a 3. I felt like the outdoor environment did a really good job of feeling of being out in the cold. The snow falling, the fog was really good, but it didn't have any story significance. I'm almost tempted to say 2. I'm going to bump it up to a 3 just because it captured the aesthetics so well. And how immersive was the atmosphere? I'm going to give it a 3. 3 or 4. Yeah, probably 3. I think that's fair. It was decently immersive. Oh, how about 4? 4 is good. I wish it had more story. Like, that's what I always say, but I wish I knew who the character was or why they're doing what they're doing. I was able to kill the zombies by shooting the air where the zombies' heads used to be. Yeah, so the model, I'm sure, was just had the body group for the head crab disabled. So that does mean that the collision box for the head would still be where the head crab would be. So that is a little bit of a problem. It was 0.17. Point 17. Notes. I really liked the atmosphere and the outdoor environment. I wish that I better understood the zombie enemies and why they didn't have head crabs. I felt like the map was very well detailed. There weren't really... what else do I think about it? The puzzle at the beginning, I did not really like that. I thought the puzzle, the pistol, where you have to shoot a crate, was misleading because there were invincible wooden boards that looked like they were destructible. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see how we're doing. So I had planned to stream for 4 hours. We're only 2 hours in. It kind of feels like I'm flying through this right now. I'm surprised by how quickly it's going. I thought this was going to take us ages, to be honest. So we have, let's see, B, Rural Life, and Cold Snap left to do. We can definitely finish this today because we don't need to do Cold Snap, although if we get to it, I'll definitely review Cold Snap. That's my own entry. Yeah, I think we can keep going. We'll probably wrap this up today. Do need to remember turn SV cheats off. Yeah, so this is B by Cvoxulary. So it's, even though he submitted Beneath the Shelled Skies, they also created B. And from the thumbnail, I can assume this is probably inspired by Project Borealis' demo that came out on Steam. I still need to play that. I actually never played that. I thought about streaming it, and then I never did. Let's give it a shot. Interesting. Okay. This door is interesting because it's one of those like ship doors, like the Borealis style doors that was not there originally in Ravenholm. Whoa. Is that just like an animated texture that's scrolling? How did he do that? Is that a particle system or a texture? Cool footstep sounds. I really like this snow material. How it like sparkles. I've never seen that before in a snow texture in Source. This is really good for a snowy environment. Like the little subtle like grass poking through the snow, not something I usually see. That's kind of cool. No interloper, so we're safe from you know, Source Engine demons. Who's that? What? Odessa Cubbage? Why is Odessa Cubbage here? Oh, okay. What? Oh, okay. So we get the gravity gun. Okay. Nice. Okay. Oh no. It's him. This is really silly. Now, is this using the original geometry from Ravenholm? It kind of looks like it. I looked at this part of Ravenholm pretty recently because I used it when I made House of Chaos. This might be using geometry from Ravenholm. It might be recreated, and if it is recreated from scratch, that's really impressive. Because I wouldn't be able to do that. It does look like the textures are a little different, so maybe they recreated this from scratch just by looking at references. If so, that's a lot of effort, and I commend it. Oh, there's zombies. That's fun. Ooh. Snowball fight. Oh, it's a shotgun. Oh, there's music. Is this unique music just for this entry? This is actually a lot of fun. Okay, okay. Oh. Oh, okay. So we got some extra supplies in here. Is that a gunship? No way. This is not what I was expecting from this map at all.
It's time for me to be a hero once more. Oh, no way. Use the chair to leave whenever you want. So this is the same house where you fight the zombies in Ravenholm originally, but it's like reorganized. I get the impression that this map was created just sort of as a dig against Project Borealis for their demo, which is, you know, it's a little silly. Maybe that wasn't the motivation, but I feel like this map has no right to be as good as it is, for it being just sort of like they wanted to show Ravenholm with snow, right? But that was like too much fun. Ade said that the first entry, Scorn, also had sparkly snow. That's a really good point, because that was also the same author, so it makes sense that the same snow assets would be used between the two. This feels a lot more snowy to me, though, with the falling snow and the icicles and that being part of the gameplay and everything. Okay. That was B.
Arctic Gale by Nuked Rabbit 95. Thanks to the Project Borealis team for inspiration and theme visuals. Yeah, so it's sort of a tribute to Project Borealis. I wonder what happened first, this one or the Scorn one. I was wondering the same thing, because this could have been sort of a warm-up, but the idea of one person doing two entries that have so many custom assets is kind of unbelievable to me. Like, I don't understand how you'd be able to put all that together. I mean, we'll see what an absolute mess my entry was. I don't understand how people can work so effectively in such a short time scale. Let's rate B. B. Textures. Obviously, full points. The lighting was good. The aesthetic was very notable with the Borealis effect, the Aurora Borealis, you know, in the sky, the snow coming down, the unique snow textures, everything. Props were good. I noticed a lot of custom props for it. Yeah, the map was great. Sound was good. I really like those footstep sounds. There was unique music. No empty rooms. And there were sequences like snow falling. Like, you could hit the snow with the gravity gun and it would break into chunks and fall. That's one thing that I would consider a dynamic sequence. There was also NPCs having dynamic sequences. Your map as it was entered was my fave? No way. I have a hard time believing that, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I think this one gets full marks, which is like, wow. I was able to play through without getting stuck. New mechanic would be breaking up the snow. The story, I would say I did understand it. No bugs. I enjoyed it. It made me feel very excited when the music started playing and I was fighting the zombies. Is this a 100? I think this might be a 100. I'm going to say 4 for Utilize Cold, because this one, the motivation of the character was related to the cold. You have to clean off the snow, which is a joke, of course, just like the gas station. Trouble at the gas station was also a joke. But I felt like this was... yeah, your motivation was tied to the cold. You're trying to clear snow. Just like in the other map, you're trying to escape freezing. So I thought that was good. The atmosphere was very immersive. Of course, being a joke, it wasn't like... It wasn't immersive in a serious way, right? But it was... the environment felt fully realized. There's one issue thematically. It doesn't really use the Halloween horror part of it. Yeah, maybe I should have added a category for scariness. I based my category for immersion on... Oop, that's my timer. I based my category for immersion on... It is supposed to be immersion. I called it uniqueness. That's my mistake. But immersion says how thick is the atmosphere and how cold the map makes us feel. So that's what I sort of rated it on. I didn't rate it on how spooky or how scary it is. Even though the theme is make a spooky and cold map, I think spookiness is meant here more to be a matter of like aesthetics rather than scariness, right? Because like it says immersion is based on how thick the atmosphere is. Like, does it make you feel like you're in a spooky place? Spooky doesn't have to be scary. Spooky can be silly. It can be campy. It can be, you know, it's sort of like a particular aesthetic. I know I'm repeating myself there. It's not necessarily just how like scared did you feel. So that was B. My notes on B. The snow and ice assets were immaculate. I have never, like, when I think about games like Easy 2, right, like we didn't have snow that sparkles like that. Like it looked so immersive. Like it made me think about how like when I look at actual snow in real life, it kind of like reflects the light that way where it sparkles depending on the angle that you're looking at it. So that looked really good. The ice looked really good. I like the snow mechanics. Story was silly but still well put together. I'm not a big fan of joke maps. I don't know why. I feel like that's a very valid way to lay out a map. I mean, it's a lot easier, a lot more effective to make a map that's a little bit silly than one that's super serious and tries to place itself in the world of the Half-Life games. For some reason, I just prefer more serious maps. I don't know why. But in this case, the story being kind of silly, like, oh, you have to clean ice off of the roofs in Ravenholm, that didn't detract from it being enjoyable. Like, the way it was executed was flawless, and it made me laugh a lot. I liked their use of Odessa Cubbage as well. Odessa Cubbage and his brother, I guess. Yeah, no, that was good. I liked that. Let's see. I think there's one more map, and then we have my map. And I will try to review my own map, although reviewing my own map doesn't really... It's not really valid, you know, because it's like I have the perspective of someone who made it. I don't really have the perspective of someone who plays through it. So I probably won't even submit my scores for my own map. I'll leave them as just not applicable. So the last bonus map that we have is called Rural Life. You should see your face during the gunship. I'm going to look at that clip after stream. I always check after stream to see if there's clips. At least if I think somebody took clips. This is interesting. Can I just... Trunk? What? Trunk. I feel like maybe I sequence broke. Can I just jump off the edge of the map? Okay, that's a little weird. North Gobville, 11 miles. So, right off the bat, I like the aesthetic of this map because these cars are made out of brushes. And it looks a little bit goofy, but it's not, like, bad, you know what I mean? Like, they're very detailed brushwork cars. It just gives me the feeling of, like, a Gold Source mod, you know? Wonder what's in here. Get over to the garage for the crates.
Let me check subtitles. Yeah, there are subtitles. It was very difficult to hear. So I had some trouble listening to that. Why is there a tiny refrigerator? Like, what is that supposed to be? Is that like a safe or like a, I don't know. It's a tiny refrigerator. So we are in Atlanta. I guess there's limitless possibilities in Atlanta. I don't know. I've never been. Give supplies to communities. Help Steve and get gas. There's danger there. Daryl lives up there. Steve lives over there. Gigamart is over there, and we're down here. How are we supposed to travel? Interesting. This room isn't bad. I mean, it's pretty empty. But I like the decals, the prop work. I don't know. Emptiness is kind of subjective. Like, I noticed when I was playing Left 4 Dead recently that there's a lot more empty rooms in Left 4 Dead than I remember there being, because they need lots of rooms where the infected can spawn, right? So if I was rating a Left 4 Dead map, I'd probably say that it did not have a highly detailed environment, because, like, there's a lot of side rooms you can go to that are totally empty. Just food for thought there. Sometimes an empty room isn't necessarily the worst thing. Oh, so there's gas over here. There's crates here. Oh. Blue crates are sent out. Orange ones are for us. Garage door. You gotta crowbar it. So these crates are for us. They're more like yellow than orange, honestly. I can't get those blue crates. Oh, okay, I need a ladder. Okay, so I've got my ladder. It's cool that the ladder actually works. So I need these blue crates. Need to take them to the trunk of the vehicle. Okay, did that... I don't know if that did anything. You can bring the rest of the crates over as well, but one is enough? Okay. Alright. I'm gonna make a quick comment. Rural life. What was I thinking just now? Like, the crates make the sound when you knock them on the rear window of the vehicle, but they don't really, like, crates don't actually go in the vehicle. And I'll also comment, you can escape the map and see the map bounds. It's kind of a, oh, I see. Wait a minute. There we go. That's better. I think I will get the rest of the crates. They must have put a lot of work into these brush-based cars. I remember for one of my old maps, one of my friends made a van out of brushes, and we used that with, I think we used it as proper, we used proper to turn it into a 3D model, and it was alright. It didn't look terrible. Brush vehicles are charming, exactly. They're never really gonna look like realistic, but they just look like, I don't know, there's something cozy about all the simple block shapes. Okay. Giant-sized toy cars, yeah, exactly. Okay, we're going to North Gobsville. So do we actually teleport to different maps when we use the car? That's interesting. Or okay, so it just set us back here, basically. Wait. Oh wait, I think I just. Okay, I don't know what that was. So that was one thing off of our list. I think. Was that supplies? How do we help Steve? I'm kind of lost here. I like that they lay out the objectives clearly, but I don't really understand them. Like when it says get gas, I have a lot of gas. I don't think I need more gas. Am I putting the gas in the vehicle? Is that what's happening? Like there's nowhere to put the fuel in. Yeah, so we sent out the blue crates. What's in this room? What kind of a building is this place anyways? So I'm a bit lost. Maybe go back. Oh, okay. I forgot to start the timer. How long do you guys think I've been playing this? This might actually be the first that was a bug. Okay. I think I teleported to the location I'm supposed to go to. The supplies seem to be gone. 6 minutes so far, yeah. I will put in 24 minutes on the timer. Bit confused what just happened. I believe that was a bug. I don't think these are for me. I don't think I should be breaking those. Am I supposed to be getting gas or bringing out the supplies? I don't understand. Maybe I'm supposed to be bringing the supplies, but they didn't actually teleport with me. I mean, there's car batteries. I like the bell on the door. I think that's a good detail. I just stole a battery. Maybe I need to go back. I don't... Oh. That... What? Well, let's try it one more time. Let's see if we can figure this out, because that seemed very buggy. Okay, so I went in here. Oh, wait a minute. So it's supposed to be like a to-do list on a fridge, but it's a fridge on a to-do list instead. I think that's the joke. I think I didn't get that the first time. That's strange. Kind of a weird sense of humor, but okay. Yeah, so we need the blue crates. And so take the blue crates. Let me check one thing a second. Okay. Looking to see if I might have a raid to go to when I'm done with all of the maps. I might be able to. I like this little ladder. I think it's cool that it actually works as a ladder and it's a physics prop. I don't know if the trigger is working there. That doesn't bode well. I'm gonna save. Start the ignition. So now the car we're gonna drive. Heading to Gobville. Okay, so that did not seem to work because we're back here and the supplies are still in the vehicle. So I think that's what was supposed to happen. But the supplies aren't in here anymore. So I don't think that it's working as intended. Oh, what is this? Is that the G-Man? It's supposed to be... Oh, he's a lawyer. I get it. The G-Man is Saul Goodman. This does have music. The music is pretty good. But I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing. I like that bell on the door when you open it. That's smart. Chemical goods. Okay. Oh. Yeah, it seems like something isn't working. I might have to revisit my scores for that. The hood is also usable. Oh. Are you supposed to put a battery into the hood? I'm really confused. Like, I just feel like I wasn't really understanding that correctly. I mean, I technically have 18 minutes left on the timer. Maybe I should keep trying. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I like this driving sequence. Okay, that actually worked that time. So you have to like climb into the driver's seat so that you are where the trigger is. It's kind of weird. So do I have to put a new battery in or something? I don't understand why that is like that. I don't think there's any puzzle. Yeah. There's no way to get the crates. What did you do? I don't mind backseating at this point because I would consider myself sufficiently stuck. I don't know why it's kicking me back to the main menu though. That seems like that's not what's intended to happen. No, but did you get any farther? I'd like to see as much of the map as I can. I just put a crate in the back and started the car. Oh, okay, but I thought we were supposed to be dropping off the supplies, not taking the supplies. I don't understand. Does this... No, it doesn't make a sound. Yeah, I think that this was intended to be something else, and it was not able to be finished. I wonder if there's anything else to see in this area. No. I think since that ended the map, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here and give a review. We never got to the danger area. Yeah, I was kind of excited for it. Ooh, there's a displacement seam here. Uh-oh. I don't have a category for that, like unsown displacements. Or things like rotating elements moving the wrong direction. That's another thing I don't have a category for. Yeah. Just bug, yeah, exactly. Rural life. So there were some visual issues. I think the materials were generally selected well. The lighting was also done pretty well, and I would say that it had a good aesthetic. Props were good, but not everything was detailed. There were also some issues with like displacements and stuff that, like I mentioned, I don't really have a category for. Music was actually really good. Were there soundscapes? There's the sounds of like the car going, but I don't think there's any like background sound. Yeah. I don't think there were any soundscapes. No. This was actually pretty good because I liked the scene on the road when you can't see the full road through the fog and you're driving past the sign. I thought that was well done. There were some pretty boxy rooms. Generally, the level of detail was okay. There was sequences like the car moving and parts of the car, like the back of the car opening up, but I don't think that's quite enough for like the kinds of dynamic sequences I'm looking for this question. I was not able... Well, technically I was able to play through without getting stuck because it ended abruptly. I'm not going to count that because there wasn't any sense that it actually ended. It didn't really use a new mechanic in a notable way. I did like the ladder prop. I thought that was a fun little movement mechanic. But there was no like central mechanic. Like that was sort of incidental. I didn't understand the story. There were bugs. I didn't really enjoy it. I did like the style of the sort of like the brush based cars and the sort of Gold Source feel of the map. So I would say it evoked an emotion. I don't think it was well paced. It's hard to tell because it wasn't finished, but I think that the objectives would have started to get tiring over time. I don't know, maybe not, because they did say you only need to bring one crate to the store. But I don't know, it's hard for me to judge it because it wasn't finished. South Park, it does kind of feel like that. How well did it utilize cold? I'm going to give that either a 2 or a 3 because cold was a big part of the environment, but it wasn't mechanical. Like there was no like cold. I'm going to give it a 3 because it did influence the story. I felt like all of the tasks that we had to do were related to it being winter, you know. We have to keep people supplied and check on stuff and yeah, do all these like winter tasks, but the cold wasn't really directly part of the story. It was more of like a background detail of the environment. I would say not very immersive. Yeah, so that was Rural Life. And then the last map that we have today is the one that I worked on. So I need to switch into my judging role and try to give it a score as though I wasn't the one who made it. So my scores for this, of course, won't count. This is a bonus entry, but this was the entry that I submitted.
All right, this is my stop. Radio Station 11. I'm supposed to meet Simon here.
That was Rock Candy Days voice acting. Yeah, cold snap. I just realized I forgot to write down notes for... I think I'm just starting to get fatigued because I'm doing things like forgetting notes. I put some notes in here. Unfinished. I can write more notes for that later, but yeah, I liked like the Gold Source aesthetic. Yeah, the timer. I mean, I actually don't need a timer for this because this is my own entry and this is also the last one that we have, so I'm not going to get stuck. It's guaranteed impossible for me to get stuck because I know where to go.
All right, this is my stop. Radio Station 11. I'm supposed to meet Simon here.
I saw some comments that, like in reviews and such, that the voice acting carried this map, and I agree. I think that Nell, aka Rock Candy Days, did a fantastic job with the voice. I don't know if you're still watching, but I'm just really, really happy with how the voice acting turned out. I feel like it made the map. This looks terrible. I feel a lot more comfortable being harsh on something that I submitted as opposed to something that anybody else submitted. I don't want to ever discourage anybody, you know? Like sometimes you make something and it doesn't turn out great. But I still want to be respectful of the time that people put into it. But since I was the entrant in this case, I can safely and confidently say, yeah, this looks bad. And it's not random that it looks bad. Like, okay, this looks terrible because it's a prop when I should have used brushes. I should have like sculpted some kind of a facade of some buildings there, and there's no decals to make this like pop out or look like distinct, you know, so it just looks very video gamey. There's not even like a corner here, you know, so that's why this looks so bad. I think that's even misaligned. Wait a minute. No, I think that's just the way the texture looks. But yeah, this starting area is pretty rough. I didn't put a lot of detailing into this map. So what you were saying earlier, it can be under detail if a player won't look there. Yeah, that's true. I'm thinking now, I should have put like some details here, like maybe some signs, or like maybe a little recessed alcove. Maybe there'd be like a payphone here.
Simon. No Simon.
I don't know how well the story of this map came across to first-time players. That's something I can't really comment on because I submitted this one, but I had hoped that the custom voice acting would at least give you an objective to start out with, so you know who you are vaguely and where you're supposed to go. What the heck was I thinking here? Oh, there goes a crow. I didn't really budget myself time to properly sculpt the displacement, so the grass is very flat. When I should have tried to like maybe have like a raised edge around this path here or something like that, or add some noise. There's a lot of different things I could do. The dropship still has its engines on. There's not much I can do about that because the prop always has this little texture. Maybe sometime I should make a custom prop version of this that doesn't have the engines turned on. Why didn't you shoot the crow? Yeah, that's a good point.
What happened here?
Sometimes these legs clip through the clip brush that I put on this ramp. I don't know why that is. I had hoped that these crows would guide players' attention over to that parking lot over there so they'd find the battery. I was able to walk through the dropship, really? Oh yeah, you can. There's probably no collision mesh on that part of the dropship. There is on the container, though. I was originally going to have stuff inside this building that you could go in, but I had to scale back the map significantly as I went. The puppies? Oh, I forgot about that. No, the puppies were going to go in here, in this building, actually. Wow, I completely forgot that hound eyes were going to be, like, an important part of this map at one point. But there's a lot of stuff I didn't have time to implement, unfortunately. This house is pretty empty, but I think that the textures... And this is really a testament to Half-Life 2's art design. Like, the textures carry a lot of detail work just by using the wall textures from Ravenholm in here. Actually, these textures, I do think they're used in CV-17 and on the coast, too. I think of them as being from Ravenholm because that's where I noticed them, especially. But these wall textures have a lot of detail and character to them. And so even though the house is pretty empty... I think it doesn't look terrible for what it is. You can kind of tell where I ran out of ideas and I was just dropping props to make the rooms look less empty. Like, there should be something in this corner for sure. And, like, it doesn't really make sense to have, like, a desk here or a chair here. It's a little silly.
All the rockets in the world. And no launcher in sight. That's just great.
Simon's gaming PC. Yeah, the rockets, I really just wanted to explain how the dropship got taken down, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think I could have done a better job with that.
Looks like I need to find a battery.
I probably shouldn't have used an instructor hint there. That was something I talked about earlier. I think instructor hints can be a little bit like too in your face. I think they can kind of annoy players or distract players, and I use them a lot, so I need to think about that more before the next time I put an instructor hint down.
A battery. I can use this.
I was kind of inspired by Barney betraying you in Entropy Zero. So I actually looked at that map to see how it's set up, and it's a lot simpler to set up than I thought it would be.
How long was I out? It's freezing. And it looks like they took the battery.
So you don't actually need the same battery that was stolen. You can use a different battery, so there's a second battery over there. This is, I think, one of the big drawbacks of this design is that the player does not know where the battery is. You're just kind of expected to wander around until you find it. And I think that's pretty weak. Also, somebody pointed out that, first of all, fog... They didn't point this out, but side comment, fog doesn't work with HDR in Source Engine. Like, you can see the shapes of those buildings through the fog because they have different bloom lighting on them. Looks terrible, honestly. I need to figure out a good way around that. That's a problem I have in a lot of maps where I try to use fog. But also somebody pointed out that the fog applies inconsistently to some of these brushes. Like, if I turn this way, that wall there, like, the fog applies to it differently than the surrounding geometry. I'm not sure why that is. They said it could be a problem with the materials and the map-based shaders, but that's a stock material. I didn't replace it, so I don't know what's going on there. Usually when I'm making maps, I'm more focused on just getting like the flow of the map and the progression and everything done, and I don't really sweat stuff like this until it's too late, and yeah, it looks pretty bad. But I kind of hope that players don't look too hard at it, but it's pretty glaring in this case. Yeah, the round fog looks weird. I was thinking maybe instructor hints could be used for marking enemies in a mod. The problem is, like, when you do that, like, the instructor hints are so loud, and not literally loud, but, you know, they're right in the middle of your screen, and they kind of distract your attention. I like using the glow outlines like Left 4 Dead 2, but I think that the instructor hints often are too, like, blatant. And that's just something I'm coming to realize after using them a lot. Like, in this map, you'll see I use it even more than I already have. Like here, does this glow? No, this doesn't glow, because you already know where this is, where the battery is supposed to go. Projected texture lighting is just so much fun to use with, like, stencil shadows like this. I should have put, like, a rug right here or something. Or, like, maybe like a corkboard with some information. So now the Zombine is active. And I'm gonna start taking damage while I'm outside. I deliberately made it 1 damage at a time because I wanted it to be more about the feeling of being cold than actually, like, being a threat to the player. So it's deliberately not very effective at killing you. And you can use the gas to end the game early. But I'm not gonna do that. Oh, he's looking around for me. Maybe I should have used VScript to try to get him to use different animations while he's, oh, he saw me. Oh. I ended the game. Yeah, it's that easy. It's, in hindsight, it's so silly how quickly you can end the encounter.
Simon, that one's for you.
You missed the garage? Yeah, it's totally optional. I was gonna have one of the locations for the battery be in the garage, but I decided not to because I wanted to. I wanted it to be more likely that players would find Simon. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, what happened here? That was weird. Strange. I'm gonna go through the, I guess, the intended route where you don't use the gas. Is the rating 10 more billion out of 10? Yeah. That's like... I'm gonna give myself a medal. There he is. I wonder if it's working where you can get your health back by standing in the heat. Because I had tried to write something where your health actually restores if you go back into the heat, but I don't think it's working. I don't think it's a big deal if it's not working. Oh, it is working. That's cool. Neat. For the knockout sequence, I mentioned that it turned out well. You can see the Combine upside down from your lying position. Your view doesn't bob around. Yeah, I'm glad that it turned out that way. I had to tweak it a little bit to make sure that that was the case. Ow. So him running away doesn't always work, because sometimes he shoots you while he's trying to get away from you. And that can be a little bit unfair, depending on where you meet him and how much health you have. I think I missed some messages. XDXDXD says, I don't think Combine soldiers work as bosses. Giving them lots of help, health wouldn't help either. Clone Cop kind of works because he can teleport, so a soldier boss would need special abilities. Yeah, I agree. I think I made this soldier really tanky because the idea is you have limited ammo and you can only wound him until you get the gun, but I don't know how well players responded to that. The voice acting is really good, but I do think this doesn't quite have the impact that I had hoped it would. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I played too many Half-Life mods, but it doesn't feel earned to me. I don't know what I could have done differently, but I wish this felt like scarier. Maybe something with the sounds? I don't know. Did that guy see me? I think he saw me. I'm just gonna use the radio.
Hello, this is Station 11. Do you read?
Station 11, we read you. Where is Simon?
Simon's gone. The Combine got him.
Maybe it would be more impactful if you had a chance to meet or bond with Simon before he dies. I agree.
Hang in there, Station 11. Backup is on the way. ETA in 30 minutes.
I hope nobody actually tried to wait 30 minutes. I didn't really think that through, did I?
Copy that.
Because my only intention was some arbitrarily long amount of time that you wouldn't want to sit and wait. I know that he's nearby. Oh wow, that was fast. I didn't expect him to die that quickly. I guess it's because I'm on normal. But on normal, your guns do less damage, right? Not more damage. So why would that kill him so fast? I guess it's because I already shot him. Yeah, the literal 30-minute boss fight, that sounds awful. Jane should just start throwing hands against Scar 1. Now that I think about it, was there ever any mod that gave you the ability to bash or hit things with your gun? No, because that would need to be like a new mechanic. it's kind of part of why we did the kick in Easy 2 is because we didn't want to have a separate animation for every single weapon for Melee. Hi, Pat. Welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm afraid you just reached the, you just joined at the tail end of the stream. I'm probably going to be wrapping up pretty shortly here. Let me see if there's anybody... I thought I had someone to raid, but now it looks like they're not streaming. Sad. Well, let's rate my entry. Yeah, so Pat, this has been a judging stream, so I've been playing through these entries and giving them a score, and that score is going to count towards the competition results for this challenge. There was an entry where you would use the back of the shotgun as a crowbar. That sounds awesome. So they just used the crowbar weapon, but they made the melee weapon, like the view model, look like the shotgun flipped around. That's really cool. I still haven't played the whole Half-Life Tower Source. I should have done that. So I think in terms of materials, I don't think there's any bad material selection in Cold Snap. There was the one I found at the beginning that was slightly off, but that was just the way the texture was set up. I think that the lighting is alright, if I do say so myself. It doesn't really guide the player towards like the battery or anything, but I think that the map helps you with navigation in other ways. I don't know, guys. Do you think that the aesthetic of Cold Snap is unique? I'm going to go ahead and say no, it wasn't. Yeah, I think Inhuman has weapon bashing. XD. I like the kick for Easy 2. Like, it not only did it save us the animations for it, but it also fits the character better, in my opinion. I do think that if there was ever an Easy 2 VR mod, the kick would be replaced with a weapon bash. Like, if there was a VR version of the game, it wouldn't expect you to have Vive trackers just so you can kick, that sort of thing. It would probably just use the weapon as a gun bash. Prop placement fit the environment? Yeah, decently. I'm gonna say it was not highly detailed. Composition and background, I'm not giving it points because I think that the skybox was very ugly and distracted from the foreground. Oh, you couldn't find him in the fog? Was that after you got the shotgun, Ade? Now, I did add soundscapes, but they're so subtle that I kind of forgot that they were there. There were some pretty boxy rooms. There was that sequence of being knocked over, so I'm going to count that as a dynamic sequence. It's so weird rating my own entry. Immersive soundscapes, I should probably... if this was somebody else's map, I would give it a 2. I was able to... I don't remember if it was after the shotgun. Yeah, I asked because he's supposed to like charge straight at you once you get the weapon. But that might not work. There's an edge case where he might not attack you, and then it could be really awkward if that happened. So I'm curious if that will affect players. I would say the cold was the mechanic. This is another one that I can't really answer. Did players understand the story or the ideas intended to convey? I think they probably did. 1 extra point for having a very handsome Combine Soldier bloody skin. Yeah. Good job on the asset XD, and thank you for letting me use that, by the way. I think it added a lot to the map. The first time he shows up, he did charge and scared you. I'm glad that that worked out okay. There's always an element of randomness in game design of whether or not it like has the experience you intend, I think. By the way, I want to watch your playthrough
because I think you streamed it either yesterday or earlier today, and I haven't watched your VOD yet, but I really want to see you play through Cold Snap. I'll probably do that after the stream, to be honest. Were there any bugs? I don't think there were any bugs. I think I would have enjoyed playing it. I don't know if it evoked any emotions, though. Yeah, I think that's the score I would give it. I think it utilized cold very well. I mean, that is... I think that it used cold very well. Because it not only it changes the environment, it has an impact on the story, and it also has an impact on the gameplay. I think it's important. How immersive was the atmosphere? I don't think it would have been especially immersive if I hadn't played it already. I would give it maybe a 2. So let's see how these scores stack up. I'm gonna make a copy. Oh, I can't make a copy. I'm gonna make a copy. Because I want to sort by total average, I think. Wait, does this... Can I actually apply? Let me see. I don't know if I can... I don't know if it'll let me filter on it. Let me try. Sort Z to A. That didn't actually work. Oh, that's because that's on the copy. There we go. Okay. So according to these scores, and I might still adjust the scores, but according to these scores, B, the bonus map, had the highest score of 96%. Beneath the Shelled Skies came in second. So those are both by Suboxulary. Beneath the Shelled Skies was in second with 89. Then I had Point 17 was in third. Point 17, if I'm not mistaken, was also a bonus map. I wish I would have had a category for whether or not they're bonuses, because that makes a big difference. But Trouble at the Gas Station was not a bonus. And I think Cabin Fever was not a bonus. So out of these, let's see. I think the top 3 are Beneath the Shelled Skies, Trouble at the Gas Station, and Cabin Fever. Am I right about which ones are bonus and which ones aren't? It's not a bonus. That one's not a bonus, and that one's not a bonus. Yeah. Yeah, so my top 3 are Beneath the Shelled Skies, Trouble at the Gas Station, and Cabin Fever, not counting bonuses. And I think that's a pretty wide distribution in the scores among those 3. I like that the scores are pretty evenly distributed. They're not, there's not like a lot of ones that are close to 100, and there's not a lot that are close to like, I don't know, close to 50 or something like that. Like it's evenly distributed between 40 and 90. Maybe my scores need to be a little bit, maybe I need to adjust the scale, because I feel like I always want to be respectful of people's time. So it's like, I don't see many maps going below 40 average, because I'm always going to try to recognize the things that are good about the map. So it makes it hard to judge. Like, I feel like maybe 0 should be a
a higher bar because then the scores would distribute more evenly. But it's not bad.
Maybe the Simon bonding time could have happened in some sort of prologue. Yeah, prologue would actually really help.
I'm getting a call. Let me just... I'll answer that afterwards. Yeah, we're going to wrap up pretty soon anyways. Like, I wonder what the relationship between Simon and Jane was, which is a terrible thing for me to be saying after I've already submitted the map. Like, shouldn't I know that? But I didn't really write any backstory for them. Like, I thought of it as being more of a professional relationship. Like, Simon is one of the people on the Underground Railroad that the Resistance is operating to get people either out of City 17 or out of a different city. It might not be City 17. So I don't know if they, like, have they worked together before? Like, she seems somewhat familiar with him. So, and I think that Rock Candy Days interpreted there as being more of a relationship there, that they know each other very well, which is good because that makes a lot more sense. That makes the map better. But I didn't really write any specific backstory for them, which is a problem. I should have written a specific backstory for them. If that's the story, you know, like, that's kind of important. The Scorn one literally could have been any map labs in the weather could have fit. Yeah, I agree to some extent. I don't think that one used the cold as well as other entries, and that did bring down the points. Maybe I should have brought it down even more, to be honest. Maybe I should have done 2 instead of 3. But I thought that ice and snow was an important part of the environment, and that served the overall story. And everything else about the map was top tier, like 10 out of 10. So I can kind of see why that, like, looking at the score for Beneath the Shelled Skies, it has a 95 in presentation, a 92.8, or let's say a 93 on engagement, and an 80 in uniqueness. Sorry, that should be immersion. An 80 on immersion. The 80 on immersion is because immersion includes how well did it incorporate cold, and I didn't feel like cold was incorporated that well, so that, like, docked points from it. So I think the score went down because of the lack of cold being a central focus, but that wasn't enough to counterbalance all of the positive things that the map had. How did Simon lose to a non-elite Cyclops? Yeah, I mean, I think that the soldier probably was badly injured, but he still managed to sneak up on Simon somehow and overpower him. We don't really see that, so we don't know. I don't really know what you mean, Dormness. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I do think that B was the better map between B and Beneath the Shelled Skies. Like, B used cold better, and it like, it just had such a good aesthetic. Scar One's worst enemy, the plot. Yeah. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Let me see if there's a channel to raid. I might be raiding a friend. Yeah, we'll see if we can do a little raid here on Twitch. But for everyone who's watching, thanks for watching this judging stream. This is the first time I've judged a competition, so I'm really happy to have this opportunity. And I had a lot of fun playing through the entries. There's just so much creativity, you know, in the community, and I appreciate everyone who entered.
yeah. So I hope you all have a good rest of your Saturday. I'm always bad at outros, but thanks for joining. See you in the next one. Hopefully I'll judge a challenge again. If not, there's plenty of mods to be played. One last thing, keep an eye out on my Twitter and my Discord server. I'm probably going to be planning some streams to play through some recently released mods in the near future, so I'm looking forward to that. And otherwise, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Bye for now.